how do you find the inverse of a function when the function is stated in an equation form? Just like in this example. Find the inverse of g of x equals 2x minus 3. So the first thing to do is write this equation in the Desmos. That would be 2x, or that would be g of x equals 2x minus 3. And we know that whenever we have the name of the function is actually the y of the function. Okay? So instead of writing g of x, I would say it should be written as y. We are not changing the function. We are just changing the name of the function. All right. Now, so if we are asked about the inverse, we know that the inverse is actually switching the x and the y, meaning the letter y becomes the x and the x becomes the y. And so if we want to find the inverse of g of x equals 2x minus 3, then this y, which is actually representing g of x, will be changed to x, and you just follow 2 and this x becomes to y, and we have negative 3. This black line is the inverse function. Now, after determining the line of the inverse function, so what are we gonna do is only to check which of the option here will definitely trace the black line. Okay, so if we will try letter A, so instead of writing g inverse of x, I would just say g of x, or maybe I would say y. Okay, so I could just change that one to y equals x over 2 plus 3, and you notice the red line never touches the black line, or never trace the black line, so A is not the answer. What if we will choose B? Okay, what if we will choose B? So that is x plus 3. So divide it by 2, and so you notice that B traces exactly the black line. So B is the answer. Find the inverse of f of x equals x squared plus 3 when x is greater or equal to 0. So the same thing, what we're gonna do is just to plug in the equation in the Desmos. So the equation is f of x equals x squared plus 3. Right? When x is greater or equal to 0, so we could write this down here. Okay, this brace, that is x is greater or equal to 0. So this is the graph of the original function. All right. Now, what is the inverse? So by the way, we know that when we see f of x, that is the y value. So we could just change that one to y without changing the graph. All right. So in finding the inverse, the same concept, we will change the y to x and the x to y. So what do we do? All right. So instead of writing y, this is going to be x equals, instead of writing x, this is going to be y, then raised to the power of 2. Then we have plus 3, and then the brace. Okay. So instead of writing x, we will change that to y is greater or equal to 0. So this is now our inverse. So the red line is our inverse of the black line. All right. Now, what do we do? What do you think should be the answer of this question? So what are we gonna do? We just have to plug in the choices and try which of them will exactly match the red line. Okay, so what if we will try letter A? Okay, so letter A is f inverse of x equals plus minus square root of x minus 3. All right, so we have, instead of writing f inverse of x, I could just say y equals, all right, so that would be square root of x minus 3. Okay, so this is for positive. Okay, and y equals negative, okay, square root of x minus 3. So you notice that our answer here is only this red line. Okay, our answer is only this red line. However, since letter A has two answers, the positive and negative, so it has traced our red line, as well as the blue line has traced our red line, as well as it has an extension of green line. So definitely I could say that it could be an answer. However, it could be an answer because one of the answers here is actually tracing our answer. However, we will try to check if there is also another answer that is much accurate. So if we try to check letter C, okay, if we try to check letter C, then we would know that, okay, so letter C here is the square root of x minus 3. So it does not include the negative square root of x minus 3. And so letter C is our answer.